My hands tremble as I hold the phone. His voice echoes from the other end, cold as ice. Did you really think I wouldn't find you, Emma? My heart stops. 3 weeks. 3 weeks since I danced in the rain that night, thinking I was alone. 3 weeks since I fled the DeLuca mansion without looking back. I saw you, he continues, and I can hear something dangerous in his tone. That night, every movement, every breath, my stomach twists. He was there, in the shadows, watching. And now he's found me. If you want to know how I got here, why I danced in that rain, and why I ran from the most dangerous man in New York, subscribe down below and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. It really helps me continue bringing you these stories. I never imagined my life would change because of a storm. It was midnight on a Friday when I finished my 3rd shift of the day. My feet throbbed inside my worn sneakers, and my waitress uniform smelled like grease and burned coffee. I was 24 years old with 3 jobs: waitress at Murphy's Diner in the morning, office cleaner in the afternoon, and hotel maid downtown at night. The rain started as I waited for the bus. Not normal rain. A furious storm that turned Manhattan streets into rivers. My phone buzzed. Bus canceled. Weather conditions. Great. Just great. I was 15 blocks from home. 15 blocks that, with the storm, felt like 15 miles. My wallet had $7.20. Not enough for a cab. Not even enough for the subway home and back to work tomorrow. So I started walking. The rain drenched me in seconds. My hair stuck to my face. My clothes clung to my body. I should have been miserable. Should have been crying in frustration like I did every night in the shower when I thought no one could hear me. But something strange happened. I stopped in the middle of an empty street. The rain fell so hard, it looked like a silver curtain under the streetlights. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt free. Free from the poverty suffocating me. Free from bills that never stopped coming. Free from the boss who yelled at me, the customers who treated me like furniture, the loneliness consuming me. I closed my eyes and let the rain wash it all away. My arms opened, and then I danced. Not a choreographed dance, just movement, pure and instinctive. I spun under the storm, laughing like crazy, embracing that absurd moment of freedom. For 30 seconds I wasn't Emma Parker, the poor girl who worked herself to exhaustion. I was just me. I didn't know I was being watched. I didn't know that in the shadows of a luxury building a few meters away, Marco DeLuca, the most dangerous man in New York, had stopped entering his limousine to watch me. I didn't know my life was about to change forever. Monday came too fast. I was at Murphy's Diner, serving my 1,000th coffee of the day, when my boss Carol called me. "Emma, I need you to make a special delivery today." She avoided my eyes. "Delivery? Carol, I'm a waitress, not... It's a VIP client. Specifically asked for someone who knows the menu. Pays $500 for the delivery." My heart raced. $500? That would cover my overdue rent. "Where?" Carol slid an address across the counter. I recognized it immediately. It was Manhattan's wealthiest district. The kind of place where I'd never be welcome unless I was wearing a service uniform. 3 hours later, I stood in front of a mansion that looked like it came from a movie. Wrought iron gates, perfect gardens, a marble fountain. A man in a black suit, clearly security, frisked me before letting me in. "Kitchen. Leave the food and go," he grunted. But when I entered the immaculate kitchen of marble and stainless steel, someone else was there. Him. I didn't know who Marco DeLuca was back then. Didn't know he commanded the most powerful Mafia family on the East Coast. All I saw was a tall man wearing tailored black pants and an unbuttoned white shirt, revealing tattoos climbing up his neck. But his eyes... God, his eyes were gray storms that seemed to see right through me. "You," he said. Just that. One word loaded with something I couldn't identify. "I brought your order, sir." My hands trembled as I placed the bags on the counter. He didn't move, just looked at me with that intensity that made my skin tingle. "Do you dance in the rain often?" My blood froze. "What?" "Friday night, 52nd and Madison. You danced in the storm." He moved closer, and each step made my heart beat faster. "Why?" My mouth went dry. He saw me. That private moment, that stolen second of freedom. He had seen everything. I didn't know anyone was watching. I was. He stopped inches from me. I could feel the heat from his body, smell his expensive cologne mixed with something dangerous. And since then, I can't get you out of my head. I should have run, should have noticed the danger in his eyes, in the way men in suits circled the mansion, in the weight of the gun I saw under a bodyguard's jacket. But all I could do was look at him and whisper, "Who are you?" His lips curved into a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Marco De Luca, and you, Bella, just became mine." Before I could process his words, he took my chin with fingers firm yet surprisingly gentle. "You're going to work for me now, not in the kitchen, as my personal assistant. $15,000 a month. What? Why?" "Because I want you close." His eyes darkened. "And what I want, I get." I should have said no. Should have realized I was entering something dangerous. But when I thought about $15,000, about finally being able to pay my bills, about not having to work until I collapsed, the word that came out of my mouth was, yes. My first week at the DeLuca mansion was like living on another planet. I woke up in a room bigger than my entire old apartment. I had a closet full of expensive clothes Marco had ordered for me. "You represent my household now," he said. Food I'd never seen in my life appeared 3 times a day, but luxury had a price. Marco. He was everywhere. When I had breakfast, he appeared. When I organized his documents in the office, I felt his eyes on me. When I tried to have a moment of peace in the garden, he emerged from the shadows. "You're avoiding me, Emma," he said on a Thursday night. I was in the winter garden, pretending to read a book from his library. The truth? I was trying to process my new reality. A week ago, I struggled to buy pasta. Now I lived in a mansion with a man who made everyone freeze when he entered a room. "I'm not avoiding you. I'm adjusting." He sat next to me on the velvet sofa. Too close. Way too close. Adjusting to what? The money? The comfort? His voice was soft, but there was something sharp underneath. "To you," I admitted before I could censor myself. Something passed through his eyes. Something raw and honest that made my breath catch. "I scare you." It wasn't a question. It was a statement. "Yes," I whispered. "You terrify me." Instead of getting angry, he leaned back, studying me with those penetrating gray eyes. "Good. You should be scared. Do you know what I do, Emma? Do you know who I am?" I've heard rumors. And I had. The mansion staff whispered when they thought I couldn't hear. Words like family, territory, enemies. Rumors don't capture it. He stood, walking to the window overlooking the illuminated city. "I control this city. Everything that moves, everything that breathes. I have a hand in it. People fear me. They should. Then why me?" My voice came out smaller than I intended. "Why a nobody like me?" He turned so fast I jumped. In 2 strides, he was in front of me, his hands gripping the sofa arms on either side of me, caging me in. "Never." His voice was lethal. "Call yourself a nobody again." "But I am. I was a waitress who—" "You were a woman who danced in the rain like she had nothing to lose, who smiled through the storm like it was freedom itself." His face was inches from mine. "Do you know how rare that is? True, unguarded joy." My heart pounded so loud I was sure he could hear it. "I don't understand." "I know." His thumb traced my jawline, and electricity shot through me. "I've lived 32 years in darkness, Emma. Blood, violence, betrayal. That's my world. And then I saw you dancing, and for 5 minutes I forgot what I was. Marco, I want you to stay," he said, and there was something almost vulnerable in his voice. "Not because I pay you, because you choose to." Before I could answer, his phone rang. The moment shattered. His expression shifted from vulnerable to cold in a heartbeat. "Che cosa?" he answered in Italian, his voice deadly. Whatever he heard made his jaw tighten. "Quando?" He hung up and looked at me. The man who had just bared his soul was gone, replaced by the Mafia boss everyone feared. "Stay in your room tonight. Don't come out no matter what you hear." "What's happening?" "Business." He headed for the door, then paused. "Emma, I mean it. Stay inside. Lock the door. You're scaring me." "Good." His eyes met mine one last time. "Fear keeps you alive in my world." I tried to obey. I really did. But at 2 a.m., gunshots echoed through the mansion. My body moved before my mind could stop it. I crept out of my room, heart in my throat. Voices shouted in Italian. More gunshots. Then silence. The kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. I found Marco in his office, surrounded by shattered glass. Blood dripped from a cut on his forehead. 3 of his men stood guard, guns drawn, and on the floor. I covered my mouth to keep from screaming. A body, a man I didn't recognize, very clearly dead. Marco's eyes snapped to mine. Fury and something else, fear, flashed across his face. I told you to stay in your room. I heard gunshots. I thought, you thought what? That you could help? He crossed the room in 3 strides, gripping my shoulders. This is my world, Emma. This is what I am. Death, violence, darkness. Tears burned my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. Who was he? Someone who wanted me dead. His grip softened. Someone who would have killed you too if he'd found you first. That's when it hit me. I wasn't just living with a dangerous man. I was in danger because of him. I should leave. No. The word was absolute. Marco, I can't. You leave. You die. His eyes bore into mine. My enemies know about you now. They'll use you to get to me whether you're here or not. The only place you're safe is by my side. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, Bella. He pulled me against his chest, and I could feel his heart racing. But I swear on my life no one will touch you. Not while I'm breathing. I should have been terrified. Should have run screaming. But wrapped in his arms, surrounded by danger and death, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Protected. And that's when I knew I was in real trouble. Because I was falling for the most dangerous man alive. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of tension and unspoken desire. Marco assigned 4 bodyguards to me. I couldn't leave the mansion without an entire security detail. At first, it felt suffocating. But after I saw the bullet holes in one of the SUVs after a routine grocery run, I understood. Someone really was trying to kill him. And by extension, me. Emma, we need to talk. Marco found me in the library on a rainy afternoon. Ironically, like the night we met. About what? There's an event tomorrow night. A gala. All the major families will be there. He sat across from me, unusually tense. I need you to come with me. Why? Because showing up with you sends a message. That you're under my protection. That anyone who touches you answers to me. So I'm bait. You're mine to protect. He leaned forward. There's a difference. I wanted to argue. Wanted to tell him I wasn't a possession. But the way he looked at me, like I was something precious he'd die to defend, made the words die in my throat. What do I wear? A slow smile spread across his face. Come with me. He led me to a room I'd never entered. When he opened the door, I gasped. Dresses. Dozens of them. Each more beautiful than the last. Arranged by color in a massive walk-in closet. I don't understand. I had them brought in. For you. He pulled out a deep emerald gown that probably cost more than I'd made in a year. This one. It matches your eyes. Marco, this is too much. Nothing is too much for you. He set the dress aside and turned to me. Emma, I need you to understand something. What? Tomorrow night will be dangerous. These people, they're not like normal society. They're predators, sharks, and they'll be watching you, looking for weakness, to use against you. Exactly. His hand cupped my face. Stay close to me. Don't talk to anyone without me present. And if something happens, you run. Don't look back. Just run. I'm not leaving you. The words surprised us both. Emma, you said I'm yours, right? My voice was stronger now. That works both ways. If you're in danger, I'm not running. Something fierce and possessive flared in his eyes. In one movement, he had me against the wall, his body pressing into mine. You're killing me, you know that. His voice was rough. Every day you're here, every smile, every time you stand up to me, you're destroying every wall I've built. Maybe that's not a bad thing. It's the most dangerous thing that's ever happened to me. His forehead touched mine, because now I have something to lose. Marco, I want to kiss you so badly it's torture. My breath caught. Then why don't you? 'Cause once I start, I won't be able to stop. His thumb traced my lower lip. And you deserve better than being claimed in a closet like some desperate... I kissed him. I didn't think, didn't plan, just rose on my toes and pressed my lips to his. For one heartbeat, he froze. Then he groaned and kissed me back with an intensity that made my knees weak. His hands tangled in my hair, his body pinning me to the wall as he kissed me like he was drowning and I was air. Emma, he breathed against my lips. Mio Dio, Emma, don't stop. I have to. But he kissed me again, deeper, more desperate. If I don't stop now, I'll take you right here. And you deserve better. You deserve romance, softness. I don't want soft. I want you. Something broke in him. He lifted me, and I wrapped my legs around his waist as he carried me to the sofa in the corner. His kisses moved to my neck, my collarbone, each one sending fire through my veins. "Tell me to stop," he whispered. "Tell me you don't want this." "I can't." My fingers ran through his hair, because I'd be lying. He pulled back enough to look at me, his eyes dark with desire, and something deeper. "You're mine, Emma Parker. Do you understand? Mine to protect, mine to cherish, mine." "And you're mine," I whispered back. "Even if you're dangerous, even if this is crazy, you're mine." The kiss that followed sealed something between us. A promise, a claim, a point of no return. When we finally broke apart, both breathless, Marco rested his forehead against mine. "Tomorrow night changes everything. Are you ready for that? As long as I'm with you." "Always, Bella. Always." The gala was like stepping into another world. The venue was a historic Manhattan hotel, dripping with crystal chandeliers and old money. Men in $1,000 suits escorted women in designer gowns, and everyone, absolutely everyone, stared at us when we entered. Or more accurately, they stared at me. Marco's hand rested possessively on my lower back as we descended the grand staircase. He wore an all-black suit that made him look like sin incarnate, his tattoos hidden except for the edge at his collar. "Why is everyone staring?" I whispered. "Because I've never brought anyone to one of these events, and because you're the most beautiful woman in the room." Before I could respond, an older man approached. Everything about him screamed danger, from his cold eyes to the way even Marco tensed. "Marco, how unexpected to see you here with company." His eyes raked over me dismissively. "Santino." Marco's voice was ice. "Meet Emma Parker. Emma, this is Santino Ricci, head of the Ricci family. The rival family. The one Marco mentioned wanted him dead. Charming." Santino smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "Tell me, Miss Parker, how does a waitress from Murphy's Diner end up on Marco DeLuca's arm?" My blood ran cold. He knew where I worked. He'd investigated me. "Careful." Marco's voice was lethal. "You're speaking to someone under my protection." Of course, of course." Santino raised his hands in mock surrender. "I meant no disrespect. I'm simply curious about what makes her so special. Special enough to risk a war over. She's not your concern. Everything about you is my concern, Marco. You know that." Santino leaned closer to me, and I felt Marco's hand tighten on my back. "Enjoy the evening, Miss Parker. These events can be unpredictable." He walked away, and I felt like I could breathe again. That was a threat. "Yes." Marco guided me toward a private balcony. "He's testing me, seeing if I'll react. If you're a weakness." "Am I?" He turned to face me, his eyes burning with intensity. "You're my everything, which, yes, makes you both my greatest strength and my greatest weakness." Before I could respond, gunshots erupted inside the ballroom. Screams, breaking glass, chaos. Marco shoved me behind a marble column, his gun appearing from seemingly nowhere. "Stay down!" More gunshots. I saw men in black ski masks flooding the ballroom, guests running, bodies falling. "Marco!" I screamed as he stepped into the line of fire, returning shots with deadly precision. One of the masked men spotted me, started running toward the balcony. Marco saw him, turned, fired. The man dropped 3 feet from me. "Now, Emma! Run!" But I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The reality of Marco's world had just become horrifyingly real. He grabbed my hand and pulled me through a service entrance. Behind us, more gunshots. His men yelling in Italian. The smell of gunpowder thick in the air. We reached the parking garage where his SUVs waited. He shoved me into one, jumping in after me. "Drive!" he barked at his driver. As we sped away, I finally looked at Marco. Blood stained his white shirt. His knuckles were raw, but his eyes were focused only on me. "Are you hurt?" I shook my head, unable to speak. "Emma, look at me." He cupped my face with bloody hands. "I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry you had to see that. You killed those men. To protect you. To protect everyone in that room." His voice was raw. "This is my world. This is what I do." Tears finally spilled down my cheeks. "I know. I'll take you somewhere safe. Somewhere far from here. You can start over. Forget all this." "No." He blinked. "What?" "I'm not leaving you." I grabbed his shirt, pulling him close. "Yes, I'm terrified. Yes, this is insane. But I'm not running. Emma, you don't understand. That attack, that was because of you. Santino is trying to get to me through you. Then we deal with it. Together. You could die. I could die crossing the street. My voice was surprisingly steady. At least if I die, it'll be next to someone I stopped, but the words hung in the air between us. Someone I love. Marco's eyes widened. Then he kissed me with a desperation that made earlier seem tame. His hands tangled in my hair, my dress, everywhere, like he needed to confirm I was real and alive. I love you, he breathed against my lips. Dio mi aiuti. I love you. I love you too. This is going to get worse before it gets better. I know. You might hate me before this is over. Impossible. He held me as the SUV raced through New York streets, sirens wailing in the distance. And despite the danger, despite the blood and fear, I'd never felt more certain of anything. I was exactly where I belonged. The war started the next morning. I woke up in a safe house, a fortress really, surrounded by armed guards. Marco was on the phone, barking orders in rapid Italian. His face was grim. What's happening? Santino declared war, open war. He hung up and looked at me. He's hitting all my businesses, targeting my men. He wants to flush me out. What do? We end this. His eyes were cold. Today, the next hours were a blur. Marco's men gathered, dozens of them, armed to the teeth. Plans were drawn, strategies discussed. And through it all, Marco kept me close, his hand never leaving mine. I want you to stay here, he finally said, with my best men, where you're safe. Absolutely not. Emma, you think I can just sit here while you walk into danger? While you might... My voice broke. No, I'm coming with you. You'll be a distraction. I'll be your reason to come back alive. Something shifted in his eyes. Then he nodded. You stay in the SUV, behind bulletproof glass. You don't get out no matter what. Capito? Understood. The warehouse district was abandoned. The perfect place for what Marco called a reckoning. Santino's men were already there. A small army. Marco had brought an equal force. As our convoy of SUVs pulled up, I saw at least 50 men on each side, guns drawn. Stay here, Marco said. Lock the doors. Vincenzo will stay with you. His most trusted guard nodded, positioning himself at my door. I watched through the tinted window as Marco walked into no man's land. Santino met him halfway. I couldn't hear their words, but I could see the tension. Marco's hand never moved far from his gun. Santino gestured wildly, clearly angry. Then everything went to hell. One shot. I don't know who fired first, then dozens, hundreds. Men dove for cover. Muzzle flashes lit up the dim warehouse. I screamed as I saw Marco drop behind a car. Is he hit? He's fine, Miss Parker. Stay down. Vincenzo pushed my head below the window line, but I couldn't stop watching. Couldn't breathe until I saw Marco return fire, clearly unhurt. The battle lasted maybe 3 minutes, maybe hours. Time lost meaning. When the shooting stopped, men lay on the ground, on both sides. So much blood. Marco stood in the center, facing Santino. Both had guns trained on each other. Then Santino said something. Marco laughed, actually laughed, and lowered his weapon. Santino lowered his too. They talked for another minute, then shook hands. Wait. What? Marco walked back to the SUV, opened my door, and pulled me out despite Vincenzo's protests. It's over. What do you mean it's over? You were just shooting at each other. Santino was never the problem. He was being pressured by the Colombians. I offered him a better deal. He smiled at my confused expression. Welcome to Mafia politics, Bella. So, no more war? No more war. Santino gets the waterfront. I keep everything else. We both profit. He cupped my face. And most importantly, you're safe. That's it? That's how this ends? Sometimes the biggest battles are won with words, not bullets. He kissed me softly. But make no mistake, I would have killed every man here if that's what it took to protect you. You're insane. Completely. He grinned. And you love me anyway. Unfortunately, yes. As we drove away from the warehouse, his men cheering in victory, Marco pulled something from his pocket. A small black box. My heart stopped. Emma Parker. He opened it to reveal a ring that probably cost more than my childhood home. I'm a criminal. A killer. A man drowning in darkness. But you're my light. My salvation. Will you marry me? Tears blurred my vision. This is crazy. We've known each other for 3 weeks. Best 3 weeks of my life. We almost died. Multiple times. All the more reason to not waste time. Your world is dangerous, which is why I need you in it. You're the only thing that makes sense. His eyes held mine. Say yes, Emma. Make me the happiest criminal alive. I should have said no. Should have been sensible. Should have run far away from this dangerous, beautiful man and his violent world. Instead, I whispered, yes. He slipped the ring on my finger and kissed me like we weren't surrounded by armed guards and the aftermath of a gunfight. Kissed me like I was his salvation and his doom all at once. And maybe I was. But as he held me close, whispering Italian endearments I was learning to understand, I realized something. I danced alone in the rain because I felt invisible, forgotten, lost. But Marco saw me, not just looked, saw the real me beneath the poverty and exhaustion, and for better or worse, in sickness and in health, in danger and in peace, I was his, forever. 3 years later, I stood on the balcony of our Manhattan penthouse, watching the city lights twinkle below. Rain tapped against the glass, a gentle rain, nothing like that storm that changed my life. Penny, for your thoughts? Marco wrapped his arms around me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. Just remembering. The rain dance? The rain dance. I smiled. Did you know, even then, that you'd fall for me? The moment I saw you spin with your arms open, laughing at the storm? Yes, I knew. He kissed my neck. I knew you were either my salvation or my destruction. Which did I turn out to be? Both. And neither. And everything. He turned me to face him. You became my heart, Emma DeLuca. The thing I didn't know I was missing. I touched the tattoo on his neck. My name, added a year ago. Just like I'd added his to my wrist. Do you ever regret it? Choosing this life? Not for a second. And I meant it. Yes, there were dangers. Yes, there were nights I worried he wouldn't come home. But there were also moments like this. Stolen peace with the man I loved more than breathing. Good. He smiled that dangerous smile I'd fallen for. Because I'm never letting you go. Possessive as always. Always. You're mine, remember? And you're mine. From inside, I heard crying. Our 6-month-old daughter waking from her nap. Marco's expression softened instantly. The deadly Mafia boss transforming into a doting father. I'll get her. As he walked away, I looked back at the rain. 3 years ago, I'd been a waitress with 3 jobs and no hope. Now I was married to the most powerful man in New York, living a life I'd never dreamed possible. All because I danced in the rain. And because a dangerous man stood in the shadows, watching. Sometimes I still danced in the rain. But now, I was never alone. Marco was always there, pulling me close, spinning me around, laughing with me instead of just watching. We'd found each other in a storm. And together, we'd learned to dance through every storm that came after. That's the thing about love. Real, dangerous, beautiful love. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't follow rules. It just is. And ours? Ours was everything. Thank you for following my story until the end. If it touched your heart in any way, leave your like down below and share it with someone. I'll be back soon with more stories. Until next time.